What is up, guys? Ravaged here with a new video, and today once again back with a guide to the Sylvan Squad. Sylvan Squad really received a few tweaks in terms of the teams that I used. We got a new infographic from Metal, we got a new charms guide from Tarragon, so a ton of new info that is definitely worth checking out. We got a new super high hit by Faker, which we will take a look at. And we got a hit by In-Season, and also Arsimon sent me a 120 billion hit that we are going to check out. So it's a ton that we're going to take a look at. First of all, let's take a look at the team that I used. I just basically got my 116 billion hit, so that is pretty great. I stuck with the Dino instead of the Brine, but don't be afraid. If you don't have Dino, I got a 115 with Brine instead. So don't have to use Dino for this, not at all. By the way, if you watched the last video, I use the sorcery charm still, and it's actually now in the charm guide. If you watched the last one, we were figuring that out a little bit. This was the main team based on physical damage, and I kind of have to say, I don't think I will keep that place one because I still lack the Hewen charms, and I only noticed that today that I didn't get them, and well, they can be very important. We'll go over that in a second. Second team, nothing too fancy. I experimented around a little bit with Ulmis instead of Iron. Definitely works pretty much the same. Honestly, you don't need the charms. I tried it with and without Ulmis charms. You don't need them. But let's take a look at this fight. The thing really is that, well, there is some discussion around Lenya at the moment about going for a little bit more survivability, because as you can see in this fight, she sometimes dies a little bit early. I couldn't really fix that for now. I think the Hewen charms would have fixed it, which could have granted me an additional 1, 2, 3 billion, I guess. And as you know, 3 billion is a lot, so especially in this realm, so that would have been really nice. Maybe next time I get to try this. For now, I have to live with the survivability as is. Still, we got pretty good damage with this team. There are a few other teams that are definitely worth checking out. We're going to check out another fight, as I said, with a 120 billion damage. That is going to use a little bit of a different team, and is still fairly interesting. See, right now, yeah, there she goes. Just half a second before the Hewen ult hit. I think with the charms we would have gotten that, so that's a little bit sad. We're not going to watch the second fight, by the way. That is still pretty much the same. We had some discussion around sorcery charms on Parisa, or if you want to go for the Swift charms. And well, I tried both. I had the sorcery set, so I did that. I got a little bit higher damage out of Parisa, but if we take a look at that actually, well, let me quickly find that for you. Okay, this is how it looks like if we have the Swift charm active, like 19 billion here, 39 billion over there, nearly 40. And if we take a look at how it looks like with the sorcery charms, we can see there is a damage increase on the Parisa, but I always lose damage on Lenya. I can only attribute that to the lack of the attack speed buff, maybe, because we have some haste on the Swift set, which could help with that. So it's a little bit, well, difficult overall. Maybe for now, let's take a look at the new infographics, because those are really awesome. And this is the new Wilder infographic by Metal369, and I will link that down to you in the description, so you'll find the link right there. And it lists all of the different teams, aside from mine, which didn't make it onto the set. It's pretty similar to Team 70, honestly, just switching out the Brine over there for Dino, which worked better for me. You have to try a little bit with that. In general, the Dino comps that I saw used very high tier Dino. I don't know if mine can necessarily keep up with that. I don't think it's worth using him at like 1 copy or something, as we saw in the Talene situations. When Talene was on the board, it was usually okay to use her at 1 copy. I don't think the same goes for Dino. So maybe if you see yourself in a situation where you don't have Dino, go for the other teams. We have one team here without Lenya. Lenya is a huge asset for that, I have to say that. But once again, she can be removed from the team. Not that I would say it's particularly good. If you have Lenya, definitely try her out. For the second team, we have a little bit of variation. It's not as confusing as it seems. If you have like Iron or Ulmus, you can place him for slot 1. Really, those can be used instead of each other. I tend to go with Iron. I kind of feel like it has a little bit more damage, but it's so small, honestly, that it doesn't really matter. If you have Lily, May, and Parisa on this team, you should use this middle comp. If you substitute for any other of the heroes we have down below here, it should look like this. this is generally your go-to. Then we have the new Charms Guide by Daragon. It was actually released a few minutes ago. I waited for this before making this video. And we now have all the charms. Like for the Sylvan squad, he made it a little bit different this time. So you can find all the heroes that you can use in the Sylvan squad right here. Aside from Rainier, if I'm not blind. I think he missed him, actually. I currently go for Balance Charm there, just for an additional bit of survivability. The recommended one is actually the Mystic Charm for a little bit of extra haste, skill power. The skill power only gives you a little bit more heal if you can even achieve that. Made a video about Rainier if you want to check that out. The Balance Charm should be alright. I don't think he really needs any specific charm, to be honest. If you have the full charm set, get some kind of advantage from it, I think for him that's okay. So yeah, I confirmed with him and he seems to have forgotten that Rainier is in the Sylvan squad. So we might see an updated version of this maybe. If you see the video, I will already put an updated link down below. So let's hop into the hit by Faker. 123 billion for an obvious place one right here. Absolutely crazy damage. Those are the heroes that he used, the Paragon 4 squad with the massive damage coming here from Lenya. Actually, interestingly enough, not too much more than I actually had, but overall, just if you have a billion more here, a little bit more here, a little bit more there, it just adds up and suddenly you end up with a whole lot more damage. He got a billion damage from Hewin, which is madness. So for the second team, 37 billion right there from the Lily May, and then we have Parisa, 21 billion. Interesting enough, what I really would like to try and got no opportunity to do so yet, I feel like Parisa could really do well with Sorcerer Charm if she just had a bit more HP than mine. Mine is at Paragon. I wonder if his with like Paragon 4 would do a whole lot better with like Sorcery Charms. So that is like the thing. This is the team that he used. We zoomed that a little bit in too much, I guess, but you can see it very well, so that's a good thing. Then we have a 120 billion hit right there from in-season. Second team, by the way, I didn't really know. That's the same that I used with like resonating spell on the Parisa. 120 billion hit here also for place 1 by in-season. Those are the damage numbers. With Diurnal this time, 20 billion from Diurnal, 28 billion from Lenya, or the Paragon 2 right there, Paragon 1 on the Diurnal, so can be worthwhile. And then on the second team, Paragon 4 Lily May. Bloody hell, quite insane. 38 billion and the 20 billion, and those are the team comps. This is a bit of a different team comp. Then I used it is actually the Team 64 in the infographic. If we check that out, that's this one. And, oh, where was it? There it is. And this is actually also a pretty cool team because it uses Diurnal on the tile. I just teleported him with Rainier over there, which did well for me. Then for the second team, pretty much the same as I used. And then for the last one, those are the charms that in-season used if you want to check those out. And those are the ones for Heaven that I would really want. That is healing and skill power. And skill power is insane on Heaven. Because what skill power does is really give you this ability and enhance this ability a ton. Heaven heals an ally granting an extra 120% HP if their HP ratio is below 50%. This effect can trigger once every 8 seconds. And heals one every 6 seconds, so it gets upgraded even down the line. And you reduce that by 1 second per 1 skill power, and you get 5, so that goes down to every second, which is a madness. So this can be very cool. What you need to make that really work is the +10 ability. While Rain Prayer, which is her ult, is active, all allies take that's 34% damage and receive buffs from Revitalize. So Revitalize is active throughout the duration of Rain Prayer, which is 9 seconds when she does her ult, and you can really get a ton of uptime of this ability through this +10, which is of course a massive investment, but a pretty cool ability and always works well with skill power. So then we have one more interesting thing. We have a video of a 120 billion hit that was sent to me by RCMon, so let's hop into this. So this is the hit, 27 billion there by Lenya. We got a 21 billion from the Diurnal, and there we go with the Paragon 4 Lily May that apparently everybody but me has, so that's the thing. Let's hop into the replay, and that's the second team. Do we want to watch that? I guess it's interesting. I mean, with the Paragon 4 Lily May, you don't get to see that every day, so let's maybe watch that too and see the damage, and then we can still take a look at the first team while we do the outro. So a lot more teams that are now tested and got a lot more testing time. So really the good thing about this is that we have a very well in-depth testing for the metal graphic that we saw. And this is really something that you can take a look at. And there we see a little bit of a problem. This is really something that I noticed as well. It's like the Parisa just clinging to her life there. She gains some recovery when she does her ult there. And what you can do and what the sorcery charm can really do for you is she gets extra energy recovery when one of the enemies with a floral mark is defeated. And this can of course be the tentacles and giving her a lot of energy recovery, granting her more ults. That is the theory. The other charm, the Swift set, has HP on it, granting you a little bit more survivability. So what works out best for you is really the question. And yeah, we see her dying there on 15 seconds, which is quite alright, I have to say, which is quite alright. We're now at 60 billion on that team. I mean, what more can you ask for, really? So already quite a madness there. Let's hop into the first team then. Can do that quickly. And there we go. And here we see also the Dino on the tile set. The Lenya getting the buff of the attack from standing behind the Rainier. And really there are two buffs of attack that you can do in this. The one is from Rainier teleporting your heroes, and the other one is from a hero standing behind Rainier. Both of which are fairly interesting. The one thing you really don't want to do is teleport Luca with uranium, sorry. And what the problem with that is that this area, this glowing purple area that you can barely see right there, this gives actually buffs. And when she is teleported to the boss, she really hits nobody with that. Nobody stands in that area. So that is also the reason why in many teams she is on like one of the tiles, so more heroes are in that buff area. And that is something to consider right there. But still, can he? Oh, Lucas barely survived, but that was really the Hewen ability. And we can see how healthy those heroes are when Hewen does her ult. And the thing is, the boss debuffs the vitality of a hero, so the healing they receive. But the good thing about Hewen is with Revitalize, you can strip that debuff off, so your heroes have a way easier time surviving. And this is still insane to me, by the way. We saw the 58 billion, and this is actually less than the second team can do with 3 heroes. So absolute madness what Lily May can do. Yeah, so that is basically everything. You will find all of the pictures, the guides at least that I showed down in the description of the video. Stay tuned for other guides, and with that I wish you a great day. Oh, and please post your best hits down in the comments. I'm really curious to see if it helped you improve your damage, and other than that I wish you a great day. See us in the next one.